Hey, how's it going? Still no Man vs. Machine update. Or any update. Well, they updated the localization files and added some medals recently. So there's that. We know they're alive. Maybe. Anyway, the first Man vs. Machine upgrade ideas video came out a couple months ago now. And I'm kind of surprised people liked it as much as they did. I didn't really think people cared about Man vs. Machine that much anymore. I'm glad they do though. And last time we did the quote-unquote defensive classes of Demo, Heavy, and Engineer. And this time we'll be doing the offensive classes of Scout, Soldier, and Pyro. Just like in the first one, the point of this series is to try to come up with new upgrades for weapons that just don't work that well in the MVM format, some upgrades for weapons that don't have any, and pretty much just anything I think would be fun. And I'll say it again, but most of these probably will be for fun. They're not meant to be huge changes to the MVM meta, but if you do like using different sets than the standard, like I do, then I think these would be fun. Trying to come up with new weapon upgrades for Scout is kinda tricky because Scout doesn't really use his weapons in Man vs. Machine. Okay, he uses the Mad Milk and the Phantom War. Wow. His primary weapon doesn't really matter all that much. Scout's really good at being the money collecting support class, but that doesn't really open up that many options for different playstyles. But we could kinda try, maybe. For the Force of Nature, I think we could add a 100% crits versus launch targets upgrade. It'd cost 300 credits with 1 max upgrade. With this ability, you could launch a robot into the air with the first shot, and then crit them with the second. And any robots launched by our teammates will also be critted. Because the Force Nature knocks back enemies, it means the second shot will probably connect less pellets, but crits also don't have damage fall off, so it can still deal good damage from a range. And giant robots take less knockback, so you could bounce them into the air and then crit them at close range, so it could be pretty useful there. A simple enough upgrade, I think it'd be pretty fun. If there's any purpose for the shove on the shortstop, I guess it could be used to stall robots in Man vs. Machine. I mean, I have no idea what it's supposed to do in the regular game, but it has some use in Man vs. Machine, I guess. So why not make it a little bit better? Much like Pyro's plus 25% air blast force, we'll give the shortstop a plus 25% shove force. This will cost 100 credits with 4 max upgrades, making a maxed out shove pretty strong and decently useful. The backscatter could receive a crits when it would normally mini crit upgrade, costing 500 credits with 1 max upgrade. That means shooting a target from behind will now deal a full crit, and any other scenario where you normally mini crit, like Girardi or the buff banner, you're now going to crit. This would be a pretty strong upgrade, but it would also be rather expensive, especially if you're trying to upgrade other things. But I think it could be pretty good. For a while, I had an upgrade idea for the Babyface's blaster, where you'd gain a speed boost whenever you had full boost. But for that to actually work, I believe they would need to increase the running speed cap. And then if you had your run speed upgrade maxed out with full boost from the Babyface's blaster and a speed boost, you'd be running faster than the Charge and Charge demo does when he's actually charging. And I'm not even sure if that's possible or something you'd even really want. Or maybe it is, but I don't really think it's that good of an idea. Maybe later on I'll try to think of a special upgrade for the Babyface's blaster and the Soda Popper. But for now, that's all I got for Scout's primaries. If you have any ideas for those two, leave them in the comments, cause I got nothing. I really don't know why most secondary weapons don't have an increased damage upgrade. I mean, sure, it's probably not as useful as upgrading your main weapon, but why not have the option? So easy enough, I'd say give the pistol, Winger, and Pretty Boy's pocket pistol a plus 25% damage upgrade. It'd cost 150 credits with 4 max upgrades. And of course, the damage upgrade for the pistol would also apply to engineers. And that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to say. For Bonk, I was thinking something like a 25% of damage absorbed is reflected back in the attacker upgrade. It'd cost 200 credits and can be upgraded twice. So with this, up to 50% of the damage you take while under Bonk's effects will be reflected back at the robot who attacked you. Kinda like the reflect power up in Manpower. It could be especially useful for giant robots, and the invulnerability that Scout gets could also be pretty handy for collecting credits. And we could also give Bonk a restores 50% health on consumption upgrade that would cost 100 credits with 2 max upgrades. Scout doesn't usually have a problem with health because he heals from collecting money, but this could be used in an emergency where you need to escape when you're at low health, and it would be a pretty inexpensive upgrade, so it could come in handy. I think the Criticola could use a simple plus 50% effect duration upgrade. 100 credits, 2 upgrades. With both of those upgrades, the Criticola would now last 16 seconds. And this would actually pair super well with the upgraded backscatter because you'd be upgrading those mini crits from the cola to full-blown crits. And maybe those two weapons could pair up to make a decently powerful offensive scout set in Man vs. Machine. Who knows? Could be cool. Just like the pistol, I think the flying guillotine could get a damage upgrade. Same price, same number of upgrades. But I've also floated the idea of having the guillotine have a stat in the regular game that would let it mini crit against debuff targets, because I do like the idea of having to have some kind of combo stat like it used to. And even if that were never to be added to the regular game, I think it could work as an MVM upgrade. A crits on debuff targets upgrade. It'd cost 300 credits, 1 upgrade. This way, a max damage hit against a debuff robot will deal 300 damage. And that would pair with not only any Pyro on your team, but even Scout's other weapons like the Sandman and the Rap Assassin. And with the recharge upgrade, you could even hit a robot with the guillotine, make them bleed, and then crit them again with another one a few seconds later. But especially with a Pyro on your team, I think this upgrade could be decently powerful. Considering the Sandman had its actual stun removed, I don't see why it couldn't be re-added in the form of an upgrade. Make it cost 250 credits, and 1 upgrade. And it would stun targets, like the old one used to. With the Ball Marks Targets upgrade, the Sandman is a pretty good melee weapon for Man vs. Machine if you just don't feel like using the Fan of War. And this could make it slightly better, I guess. And now you could also relive the days when the Sandman was a horribly balanced weapon that prevented enemies from fighting back. But this time just against robots. And that's okay, because we don't care what they think. Until the robot uprising, we don't have to care about that. The Rap Assassin. Why doesn't the Rap Assassin have the same Ball Marks Targets upgrade that the Sandman does? I don't know. Give it one. And this means when you hit a robot with an ornament, they'll now be marked for death and take mini crits. And yeah, I know it's not a ball, but you know what? An ornament can be a ball if it wants to. Who says it can't? You? Are you an expert on ornaments? Did you go to ornament school? Yeah, I didn't think so. Soldier. Soldier's a cool guy. He's got some weapons. Now let's talk about him. In a game mode that's all about fighting hordes of enemies, the direct hit only being really effective against one robot at a time isn't super useful. I mean, obviously it's capable of damaging multiple robots with one rocket, but the other rocket launchers having a significantly larger explosion radius generally makes them more effective. I think we could fix that a little bit by giving the direct hit a projectile penetration upgrade, costing 400 credits with 1 upgrade. This means that the rocket would actually just go through enemies. For this to be more effective, you would kind of want to be on the same plane as the robots, but on maps like Big Rock and Decoy and some parts of Rottenburg that just funnel the robots through flat sections, it actually might be really useful, especially with the high damage that the direct hit is capable of. So I think that could be pretty good. The Liberty Launcher is alright, I guess, but literally all of its upsides can be given to the regular rocket launcher through upgrades without having that big damage penalty to start with. So I think the Liberty Launcher could use something unique. Maybe something like a plus 15% knockback push force on target upgrade. And it costs 200 credits with 4 max upgrades. It could potentially be pretty useful for knocking around the bomb carrier or stalling giant robots. How useful? Probably not that much. But I do think it would be fun to fire a rocket into a horde of scouts and then watch them all be blasted into the air. That'd be fun. In Man vs. Machine, the Cow Mangler's infinite ammo is a pretty decent upside, but its inability to crit is a major drawback, and its charge shot that takes up your entire clip becomes basically worthless when you're almost always going to be increasing your clip size. So unless you don't have a medic, don't plan on using crit canteens, and aren't facing any robot engineers, you probably aren't going to be using the Cow Mangler. And even if you do, the only thing it really has over stock is the infinite ammo, since again, the charge shot is pretty bad in Man vs. Machine. But I really like the charge shot. I always have. And I think it'd be really neato if the Cow Mangler got a super charge shot upgrade. This upgrade would increase the charge shot's explosion radius by 50%, disable any robot that lives the hit for 4 seconds, slow giant robots for 4 seconds, and would deal plus 25% more damage for each clip size upgrade that you have. It would cost 350 credits with 1 upgrade. So to help make the increased clip size not just a bad thing for the charge shot, each clip size upgrade you have will further increase the damage of the charge shot as if it was another damage upgrade. So with a maxed out clip and maxed out damage upgrades, the charge shot would deal 200% more damage and also mini crit. It'd also have a massive explosion radius and disable robots, and I think it'd be really fun. Obviously you could just fire like 3 or 4 rockets and accomplish the same thing without having to reload your entire clip, but that's way less stylish. And yeah, I think this would be really fun and decently useful. Like Scout's pistols, I think Soldier and Pyro shotguns should be given a damage upgrade. 200 credits, 4 upgrades, and it also apply to heavies as well. But it would also apply to the Righteous Bison. And a fully upgraded Righteous Bison is already pretty decent in Man vs. Machine, So with this upgrade, it could actually potentially make for a really solid alternative to using rockets. And I'm all for that, I think it'd be really cool. In addition to getting the damage upgrade, I think the reserve shooter could get the same crits it would normally mini crit upgrade that the backscatter would get. But this time it'll only cost 250 credits. It'd be pretty situational and still pretty much worthless on Pyro, but it could pair pretty well with the knockback increase on the Liberty Launcher if you feel like going out of your way to kill robots in a flashy way. You show off, you. The gunboats! The gunboats don't have any upgrades. And it stumped me for a pretty long time how you could even make them remotely useful in Man vs. Machine. And the answer is you can't. Well, maybe you can. I tried though. First, we could add a gain a speed boost when below 50% health upgrade. It costs 200 credits with one upgrade. And that means anytime you're below 100 health, you're now going to get a disciplinary action type speed boost, and you can do whatever you want with that. And then I was thinking, like, so what if the gunboats had a plus 10% movement speed upgrade that stacked with the class 1 to get to a max of plus 60% max move speed? And what if it also had a plus 20% jump height upgrade that could also be added onto the regular one for a max of plus 120% jump height? What if it had those? Well, it wouldn't be that useful, but you'd now be able to get soldiers to jump really, really high and run almost as fast as Scout can. And even faster when you're at low health. Probably not super useful, but I think it'd be pretty entertaining to use. The man treads also don't have any upgrades and will probably never be that useful in Man vs. Machine. But I'm kind of surprised that they gave the thermal thruster a stuns enemies when you land upgrade and not the man treads. I mean, why not? They basically took the whole stomp mechanic from that weapon to begin with, so just bring that upgrade over there. Same price and same number of upgrades, which is 1. But we could also add a plus 5 seconds of crits on kill upgrade. It'd cost 150 credits with 2 max upgrades. So anytime you manage to get a stomp kill, you're now going to get 10 full seconds of crits. Or up to 10 seconds, and that's pretty good. Situational, but pretty good. The base jumper is useful enough if you want to use the airstrike, but it also doesn't have any upgrades. Maybe the jumper could get something like a 25% slower air descent when deployed upgrade. It costs 250 credits with 2 upgrades. So each upgrade will make you fall even slower with the parachute out. We could also give it a 100% increase in air control when blast jumping upgrade. It costs 150 credits with 3 upgrades. Each upgrade would pretty much give you more turn and control in the air, whether or not the parachute is actually deployed. And finally, we'll add a gain a 3-second speed boost when landing upgrade. It costs 100 credits with 1 upgrade. With this, anytime you rocket jump, you'll gain a speed boost when you hit the ground. And this way, the base jumper would have some semi-useful upgrades, I guess. Better than nothing. Pyro became a whole lot better in Man vs. Machine when the gas passer was added. And while I think that's good, because I did find Pyro to be somewhat lacking before it existed, it's just so easy to use. It's kinda brain dead. And it was even worse before the Blue Moon update. And by worse, I mean even better. Now, if only it wasn't complete absolute garbage in the regular game. So, I know these videos are more about new upgrade ideas, but I do think the gas passer would be better balanced if instead of having the Explode on Ignite upgrade just being one 400 credit upgrade that causes a 350 damage explosion, it be separated into 4 upgrades. Each upgrade would cost 200 credits, and the explosion damage would start at 100 and increase by 100 per upgrade, maxing out at 400. This way the gas passer doesn't just become super powerful for buying 1 upgrade. And with the explosion upgrade maxed out, it would deal slightly more damage than it does now, but it would also cost 400 credits more total. And I think that would help make it a little bit less dumb. Okay, so the Afterburn upgrades for Pyro are really not that useful, since Afterburn is just not that good in Man vs. Machine. And these upgrades aren't super cheap either. The increased Afterburn damage and duration cost 250 credits each. So it would cost 2,000 credits to max both of those out, if you wanted to, for whatever reason. Sort of like how they combined some of Medic's upgrades in the Two Cities update to make the Healing Mastery and Overheal Expert upgrades. I think they should do the same thing with Pyro's Afterburn ones. Call it something like Afterburn Master, and have it both increase Afterburn damage and duration by 25% per upgrade. And I'd even knock it down from 250 credits to 200 credits. While still not super useful, it does make these upgrades a lot more worthwhile and affordable. And on the topic of some basic upgrades for Pyro, a long time ago I did mention the idea of an upgrade that would increase the flamethrower's range. And you know what? Yeah, why not? Have a plus 25% flamethrower reach upgrade, have it cost 400 credits with 2 max upgrades. Originally I had it go up to 100% further, but I think that might be a little bit much. A 50% increase would probably be fine, and it would give Pyro a decent amount more range. The Degreaser is one of those weapons that's really good in the regular game, but just not very good against robots. Fast switching is just not that useful. And since the Degreaser's main draw is how it combos with other weapons, I was thinking maybe it could unlock a plus 25% damage upgrade for Pyro's melee weapon, similar to how the Charge and Charge does for demo and how I said the Buffalo Stake Sandwich could for heavy. It'll be a standard plus 25% damage upgrade, cost 250 credits, with 4 upgrades. That way you could max out your extinguisher and do some huge damage to burning robots. I mean, you could also probably just hold your flamethrower on them for a few seconds to do the same thing, but at least you'll have the option. And I was testing it out a little bit, but unfortunately it seems like the extinguisher does not do any more damage when you have your afterburn duration increased. Since when they changed it in the Blue Moon update, the extinguisher now does damage based on the amount of afterburn time left on the target. It seems to have like a cap at 10 seconds, I'm guessing, so maybe they'll change that. That would make the extinguisher a lot better, but eh. When the Dragon's Fury came out, it actually had a faster recharge upgrade, and I'm not entirely sure why that was removed. I'm guessing there was a reason. Maybe it didn't work. Maybe it was too powerful. I only really used it once because it was removed like a week later. But I'm guessing there was a reason for that. I just thought I'd mention it because it's kind of interesting. But anyway, I think with the other flamethrowers getting a range increase, the Dragon's Fury could too. Let's say a plus 15% projectile range, have it cost 300 credits with 2 upgrades. The Dragon's Fury will also get an Afterburn Master upgrade, but since it only ignites for 2 seconds, we'll have it be plus 50% damage and duration, and have it only cost 100 credits with 4 upgrades. The Afterburn duration would be a maximum of 6 seconds, which isn't that great, but the Afterburn damage would increase to up to plus 200%, making the Dragon's Fury's Afterburn be potentially the strongest in terms of damage per second. And, yeah, I think if the flamethrowers have a range increase and stronger afterburn, the Dragon's Fury could too, and that'd probably keep them all roughly even. I think all of Pyro's flare guns could be given a damage upgrade. 4 upgrades, 150 credits each. And like the flamethrower, we'll combine both afterburn upgrades into an Afterburn Master one. So with the damage upgrade maxed out, a crit flare would do 180 damage. And a fully upgraded flare gun is actually really fun to use in Man vs. Machine. And it's pretty decent. I mean, I'm sure even with this upgrade, it wouldn't be as useful as the Gas Passer's huge burst damage to multiple robots, especially when the Gas Passer currently only needs 1 upgrade to do that. But I do think it would be a big help if you do want to go Flare Gun Pyro, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. And I think it's neat how the Thermal Thruster actually has Man vs. Machine upgrades. It really seems like a weapon that wouldn't to me, just like one of those ones that they pass over, kind of like gunboats. They're not really useful upgrades in this game mode, but I'm glad that they're there. And just like the Man Treads, I'd say give it a plus 5 seconds of crits on kill upgrade. 150 credits with 2 upgrades. You land on a robot, you kill him, you can get 10 seconds of crits for free. Not bad. Not that useful, but not bad. And that was that. Have any ideas of your own? Let me know. Put them in the comments. Obviously, next time will be the last 3 classes, the support classes, Medic, Sniper, and Spy, which are arguably the trickiest to kind of combo with stuff for. But, yeah. Until next time, peace out, dogs.